Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Wednesday, and that means Adrian Hernandez is back. How you doing, buddy?
Let's go. I'm alive. I'm excited. I'm full of energy. I'm ready.
Awesome.
I love these calls, man. I love these calls.
Oh, me too. You help me out. You are a mentor of mine. You're coaching me. It's awesome. One of the things I love about what you do on Instagram, and if people aren't following you, what's your page?
At Adrian Hernandez.
They got to do it because you put out these little challenges, little nuggets. I'm going to steal one of them so it ends up on my channel. You talked about, hey, if you want to be a little bit better every week, do this. So do me a favor, talk about it, explain it, talk about why it works, because I watched it and then rewatched it and watched it again. So it's powerful stuff.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you, man. You've helped me beyond words. So I'm glad I'm able to give back, pay it forward.
There you go.
Yeah. So what I do every week, and it's from the beginning of me getting into the business. I'm not too sure. I think it was Joe D. Raffaelli. Yeah, pretty sure it was Joe D. So he was a coach of mine, pretty much helped me understand this mindset game, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And one thing I know is, and we all know, is we tend to beat ourselves up over the things that we could have, would have, should have done. Yeah. And our brain is like a computer. And every time we punch in a question like, why am I not smart enough? Or why am I not, why can't I find these deals? Our brain is going to come up with all the reasons on exactly why you cannot. Just like if you were to go to Google and type in, for instance, fish house near me, it's not going to give you Jack in the Box. It's going to give you the fish house. Right. So it's the same thing in our brain. When we type in what is missing, you're going to find all the things that are missing. Mm-hmm. When you type in all the things that are good, your brain is going to find all the things that are good. So one thing I do every week, and I try to do it by Friday, but full transparency, there are days where Friday gets ahead of me and I end up doing it on Saturday, no later than Sunday, for sure by the end of the weekend. Okay. But what I do is I do a week audit and I just take a look at the week. And the first thing I do is I look at all of the things that went right. Because remember, your brain is like a computer. So if I type in what's wrong, I'm going to get what's wrong. And I don't want to know what's wrong because let's all be honest, when we think about what's wrong, do you feel better or do you feel worse?
Yeah, exactly.
You feel worse because it just reminds you of all the bad that has happened, right? And or what you think you are. So then what happens is you ask yourself, what were all the things that went good? What were all the things that went great this week? What went well? And at first, I would write them down. So for those of you just starting, just write it down, right? Take out a piece of paper, got a piece of paper right here, and just write it down. All the things that went good. Acknowledge Monday, Tuesday, all the way up to the day that you're in, and even acknowledge that morning. So let's just say it was Saturday. I'm doing this in the afternoon. I want to acknowledge what happened prior to me doing this, right? I want to acknowledge what good happened. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at what can I do better? So I'm going to write down all the things that I did good, all the things that went well, all the things that worked out. And then I'm going to write down what can I get better on? So next week, mind you, I'm not looking at the mistakes, but if there were any, I'm going to fix them in that next week. I'm going to find a way to get a little bit better that next week. So what I do is I write down some things that I'm going to get better on, right? Like I'll look and be like, oh, well, I noticed I wasn't as present on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday when I was at home. I noticed that there was a lot going on at work. And when I got home, I kind of brought my work with me. Okay. So next week, I'm going to work on being more present, right? I'm going to work on when I come home, maybe putting this in a drawer, maybe putting this on silent when I'm with my wife, right?
Right.
And I'm going to look at some business stuff. What went well in business? What are some things that I can do better on? Did I maybe leave a little bit early where I could have made a few more calls? Did I maybe not fully give that service that I knew I could have provided, but I was such in a rush that I ended up not? So I'm going to look at all the things that I can do better. And what you're going to notice, guys, is there's a compound effect. The first week, you may still think about things that are negative or things you didn't do right. The second week, you may, but what you're going to notice is the things that you didn't do right and all the things that you look at that are wrong, they're going to start to diminish because there's a compound effect. And the more good that I think, the more the good is going to compound. And eventually, it's all that I'm going to think about. It's what's good. The problem is we've been focused on everything that is wrong. We've been focusing on everything that is negative, and that has compounded. Right. And because that has compounded, that has created a pattern. And that pattern is every time I'm going to look at what went wrong versus what went great. And you start to create a new pattern. You start to create a new ritual. So now when things don't go right, instead of you saying, damn, why did that happen? You say, okay, what can I do to get better?
Yeah.
And it makes a world of difference.
Yeah. Again, this is why I follow Adrian Hernandez on Instagram. You need to do that right now. Follow him on YouTube. This little, I'm going to call it a mind hack. I don't know what else to call it. Mindset hack is very powerful. It's why I've watched it 3 times already this morning. And it's frankly something I've never done. I was the traditional, because again, I'm very disciplined. It's probably most people can figure out now. But sometimes my discipline is an Achilles heel. And here's an example, right? I have historically gone back and had a day, Friday or Saturday for me as well, and gone back and looked at my week and said, what did I do wrong? That is not the way to go. It's just not. And you're right. It does set a pattern and you don't feel better, right? It's the end of the week or traditional week for most people. You should feel great going into the weekend instead of going home and you're just depressed. So exactly. I'm going to watch this a few more times. I might watch it on repeat, but these are the kinds of things, folks, you need to get around people that just help you. And Adrian helps me. So one more time, Adrian, how do people follow you?
At Adrian Hernandez, YouTube at Adrian Hernandez. Remember, guys, this is a radio. Just think of this like a radio. Whatever frequency we give out is the frequency we're going to get back. So when you put out good frequencies, like what went good, you're going to get back good. When you think about what went bad, you're going to get bad. And we know how that goes, right? So make a decision. You want to be on the good side, start to think more on the good, right? And I know you all do. So make the decision.
Thanks, Adrian. That's awesome.